Look closely at your hands. If you press them against a wall, you can instantly feel the cold, rough surface of the world around you. But the thing actually experiencing that sensation, the silent observer sitting directly behind your eyes, has no physical texture at all. Philosophers and scientists call this the hard problem of consciousness. Despite mapping the nervous system, we have never been able to explain how a clump of wet physical brain matter manages to generate invisible, weightless thoughts. In the 11th century, the Persian philosopher Naser Khosrow looked at this disconnect and established a strict philosophical rule. He argued that any entity that is complete in itself is inherently superior to an entity that depends on something else to exist. To prove this, he looked at space. Your physical body is trapped, tightly bounded by the dimensions of whatever room you are sitting in, but your intellect can close its eyes and mentally encompass the entire universe. Since the mind can effortlessly hold the universe as a concept, while the body is confined to a tiny fraction of it, Khosrow concluded the intellect cannot simply be a byproduct of meat and bone. It is the master. Think about our biology's physical elements. They are entirely unstable. Matter is constantly shifting, aging and decaying, existing only in a state of changing potential. Khosrow argued the intellect operates completely differently. It exists in a state of pure actuality, fully realized and steady. If our minds shifted like matter, logic wouldn't function. We couldn't grasp absolute truths because the measuring instrument would be in constant flux. We do perceive absolute truths, and because we are capable of doing so, the mind cannot possibly be made of the four changing physical elements. It operates independently, a ghost in the machine. 200 years after Khosrow mapped this out with cold logic, the Sufi mystic Jalal al-Din Rumi arrived at the exact same division. But Rumi explored it through an intense spiritual longing. Rumi completely inverted how we view our own existence. We tend to think our physical bodies eventually grew a mind. Rumi argued the soul is the architect, and it built the physical body around itself. He famously compared human anatomy to a temporary cage. The soul is an independent bird trapped inside, constantly yearning to burst through the iron bars and return to the boundless sky. Rumi took Khosrow's analytical geometry of the mind and translated it into raw emotion. He saw our natural human longing for meaning as undeniable proof that the soul desperately wants to escape its physical shadow. By the 17th century, this exact realization struck France. René Descartes began doubting everything he saw and felt, realizing his physical senses lied to him constantly. He concluded the only undeniable truth in the universe was the simple act of thinking itself. This led to his theory of substance dualism. Descartes divided reality in two: physical matter that takes up measurable space, and the thinking mind, which takes up absolutely zero space. We can trace this strict separation all the way back to ancient Greece. Plato argued that the physical body is just a decaying, temporary shadow, while the soul belongs to an eternal realm of perfect, unchanging forms. Across widely different centuries, empires, and religions, these thinkers aligned on one conclusion: the mind, which perceives eternal truth, cannot mix with the messy, perishable biology of the body. If you want to keep exploring the history of human thought, take a second to subscribe, hit the like button, and let me know in the comments which philosopher we should cover next. If we travel east, this strict division collapses. The ancient Taoist tradition doesn't see a separated universe. It sees existence as a continuous, unified flow of vital energy known as qi. From the Taoist perspective, the mind and body are not locked in a master and slave dynamic. They are simply different densities of the exact same energy, constantly flowing and dissolving into one another. Buddhism introduces the concept of anatta, or non-self. Through deep meditation, Buddhists argue the mind isn't some eternal king. It is a flowing stream of temporary sensations, appearing and vanishing in an instant. So we have a profound philosophical divide. The West and the Middle East found nobility by declaring the mind completely independent from nature. The East found peace by realizing the mind is totally interconnected with it. Today, we must decide which definition of the intellect we believe, because we're actively building one from scratch. Ultimately, artificial intelligence is just a hyper-advanced version of Khosrow's physical compounds, a changing arrangement of silicon, code, and electricity. If we follow the ancient logic, no matter how intricate that physical machinery gets, matter can never spontaneously generate the immaterial spark of pure actuality. This distinction matters. If our consciousness is not just a calculation, then a human being is not an optimization problem to be solved. It suggests there is an essential quality to your experience that can never be replicated or predicted by a physical machine. Modern digital systems are often designed to bypass your higher intellect, speaking directly to your physical biology, triggering dopamine and exploiting your reactive, shifting nature. Khosrow's 11th century logic offers a way to push back. By identifying as the sovereign mind rather than the physical body, you can create a distance between yourself and the triggers designed to control you. In a world that wants you to be a predictable biological machine, choosing to be an independent observer is a quiet act of resistance. Try doing this later today. Look closely in a mirror. Look past the facial features and the skin. Actively try to distinguish your perishable physical carriage from the eternal, silent observer sitting right behind your eyes. You have to make a choice about what you are. Will you accept being a perishable, manipulatable object, or are you a truly sovereign mind?